Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong show.
We're doing that. That's what we're doing, huh?
Today, we're going to finish up Scream 5 real quick. Just the last little final notes on Scream 5 because we had some technical difficulties going into last week at the end of it with Jason's microphone. So we're going to do the end of Scream 5 and go into Scream 6. Because we really didn't get too much time to talk about Scream 5. Jason, just quick little snippets of it. Did you like Scream 5?
Yeah, I like Scream 5. Yeah.
I thought
I
I like the new characters.
Yeah, I mean, here's a thing, and when we get into Scream 6 here in a little bit, this is my opinion, but as we've progressed through the movies, okay, so uh no, leave those rabid grannies at home. We're not talking about them tonight. Um so first Scream is always going to be a classic. It's always going to be like the best. If you go up to, well, I mean, anyone, you know, Scream is what revolutionized everything. Now, with Scream 2, a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, and I don't think a lot of people really like Scream 3. I think Scream 3 is like the lowest point, but I am starting to see an upward trend.
I was about to say I agree with you. It's like a curve. It's like a curve. It's going down and then it's going right back up.
And I think at this point, besides the first one, this one is like I think 6 is by far like the best one. But like I said, besides the first one, so um, yeah, so that is where I stand. I like the fifth one. Yes.
I liked and it sucked that Dewey died in the fifth one. I know we talked about that a little bit. Um,
Yeah, nice little shocker there.
and the way he died was cool. Died in the
Which was
hospital. He had like one knife in the gut and the other one like in his back.
Yeah, and then the killer races up. Which, if we're talking about that particular character, that was the female,
She
and
was
she was kind of
short.
she was kind of short, but kind of you go back and see the fun thing about it is with these movies, there's always like two ghost faces except for like the first one where it's just the one.
No,
But
three. Three is the one.
or the
Is the
three.
single one.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's always fun to try to figure out, okay, who is who is doing what killing, you know. But in this one, she specifically says that it was an honor to kill him and da da da, and you're just kind of like, well, that doesn't make any sense. You would think it'd be the guy because he was taller, and for her to have to hoist him up a little bit, you need some height there a little bit. Otherwise, but then again, I guess that's the deceptive part of the whole thing. Maybe she was just wearing platform boots that day. Make herself taller.
Well, like I said, I just wanted to touch base on five real quick since we didn't get a chance to finish it, and we'll do IMDb and the screamo meter for 4 and 5 and 6 tonight. So let's just dive into 6.
Okay, 6.
So I noticed a growing trend that with these movies. So while yes, 6 is another high point of the movie, it it's kind of doing the same thing where 5 was kind of like the same story style as 1, and now 6 is following suit with 2. They're off to college, they're in a different town, and lo and behold, Ghostface and another killer.
Yeah, yeah. They actually brought that up. It was a requel sequel or whatever they wanted to call it, the franchise type of thing. Like you said, the fifth movie was kind of a rehashing of the first movie a little bit. This one is a rehashing of kind of the second one. But I'm gonna tell you something. Besides that comparison, this movie is
Oh man, this one was
this movie's this one was entirely different. Like it didn't play anything by chance. You know, there was kind of some like gnarly twists and turns. I think like when you're watching Five. Okay, when we sat down and watched Five for the first time, I don't think any of us anticipated Dewey being killed off. Right, fan favorite. We just didn't realize it was gonna happen, and it happened, and we're just like, oh my god, they just actually killed Dewey. They just killed Dewey in this. Well, in this one, they kind of do the same thing with Gale. Like, he gets into her apartment or whatever and attacks her and stabs her, and you're just like, well, great. They're just and about halfway through that whole segment, I'm just like, yeah, okay, they're gonna kill off Gale now. They're doing like the Star Wars thing where they just kind of kill off each of the main characters in like each movie, and I was like, yeah. So they're gonna kill Gale, and then like she survives, and you're like, oh, okay, so we're not killing Gale in this one. That's kind of a
But-
kind of a side twist there.
But even in this one, we got the new Dewey
Oh, yeah, Chad.
with Chad just like becoming a human pincushion.
Chad. What do they call him? The Core Four. They
Yeah,
call themselves the Core Four. The Core Four.
and
Um,
and there was even a surprise like return of Hayden Panettiere as Kirby.
yeah, Kirby shows back up.
You know, working for the FBI.
Yeah, she was an interesting twist that they brought back. So like we said before, this one takes place in New York, and Sam, the main character, is very like keeping her sister out of all sorts of trouble. You know, she's just trying to keep an eye on her and like,
Oh my God! I just realized something.
what did you realize?
Chad, do you know who plays him?
No.
His name is Mesa Gooding. His dad is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Seemed familiar. He did have kind of like a look to him or whatever, but
Sorry, go on. Oh, I think Jason froze. Oh no. Oh no, I think Ghostface may have gotten to Jason again. No. So yeah, Jason, as you say, he did have kind of a look to him, and I don't know.
I think the internet's just messy around.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, the internet's just being wonky today. If it's not the mic, it's the internet. If it's not the internet, it's the mic.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be something. It's gonna be me.
He'll be back.
So, oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the sister's just kind of being reckless. You know, she doesn't want to live in the past, and she's, you know, trying to get herself into some trouble. And once again, this movie is about family and also about legacy, which is really interesting because when they find the Ghostface hideout and they got like all the little knickknacks and stuff from
I
the movies.
loved that.
And then when they had it up on stage, they had like all the costumes from because you think you're like, oh, they're Ghostface, they all wear the same thing, but no, they all have like their own like little. They had their own case with their own like little masks and their own little.
Yeah, because at each killing, he left a mask from one of the previous Ghostface.
And it was all supposed to lead up to the big one, the original Billy Loomis.
Yeah, we get some more Skeet Ulrich in this one, telling her, "Take the knife." And not only did they have the costumes, but they had the knives, the different knives that they used, and they had like just all sorts of throwbacks. Like you had the TV that they pushed onto Stu's head. They had his robe that he was
Oh
wearing.
no! Oh no! This is the TV that killed Stu Macher. Yeah, if you want to believe he's dead.
You know,
That was a nice little hint. Yeah, I like the idea that it was a throwback to everything. You know, it wasn't just like, you know, you go into like you one of those like, well, like they call a requel, kind of like a reboot sequel type of thing. You know, all they referenced the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. So they had like when they were talking to the police guy, Kirby and the police. What's his name? Wayne? Was it Wayne? I think it's been a couple. No, it begins with a W, I think. But they were Kirby and him were doing like they had like the all the original Ghostface up on like a board, and she's going through them, and you know it was just really nice to kind of see, even though you know, huh?
were you talking about the main cop?
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
it's
God.
Dermot. He's played by Dermot Mulroney, but it's Detective Bailey.
Bailey. I was thinking Wayne. Wayne Bailey. But you know, so they had that nice little display where they had like all the Ghostface killers up on a wall. We kind of went through them and whatnot. Billy and his accomplice Stu, and then you had like Billy's mom and her accomplice, and his name Rowan.
Yeah, the brother.
The one singular Ghostface, given points for ambition.
Yep.
Yeah, no, because everyone else was partnered up. So yeah, it was nice to. It was nice to have those tie-ins, you know, because I think a lot of movies tend to. They always skip over like the third one. You know, it was like one of those ones that you don't talk about that much. You got the first one, you roll into the second one, which references the first one, of course. But then you go into the third one, which still plays with like Sydney's history. But then when you get into the fourth one, you know, it's referencing the last or the first one.
Yep.
Go into the fifth one, it's referencing the first one. Everyone wants to reference the first one, but you know, this one was just like it started with the first, but all this is still there, and it's all legacy stuff, and it's just really cool. And spoiler alert, this one was a cult.
I wouldn't say it was a
Yep.
cult.
Well, I know it's not a cult, but that's the first thing I thought when I saw 3 of them.
So, the one thing I can say about this movie that it did over every single predecessor, it took,
Including the first one.
including the first one, it took the violence and it took the gore and it turned it to 11.
Well, I think that was one of the rules they said. It's a franchise now, so you want to go bigger, badder. You know, nobody's safe. Da 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 da. But the thing that really got me was that in every single one of these Scream movies, you're safe in a group, even though the person in the group is the one that's, you know, doing the killing. But usually when you're in a group, you're safe. Because they'll only pick off one at a time. They'll pick you off when you're by yourself, right? So you're being stalked by Ghostface. You're running. You run into a group of people, and there's no more Ghostface. He tends to back off and wait until you're alone. That's what they do. This one, they ran into a convenience store.
Ah, that's your face. I got it.
Yeah, they run into this convenience store, and you're not safe. I mean, even the last one we did. Scream 5 was pretty standoutish in the fact that he was brutally killing people. He killed Judy
In daylight.
right there in the daylight in her front yard. So you're just kind of like, you know, there's not a whole lot of daytime killings, it seemed like, you know. No, in the first one they had like, I think the principal.
Mm-hmm.
He was killed during the day.
Randy.
Yep, Randy was in the second one. That was still kind of like a by yourself moment. Kind of scooped him up and brought him into the van and killed him. It was kind of off. It wasn't like in public.
Well, let's show everybody what you mean by It don't matter if you're in a group of people.
Yeah, even if it's just random people.
You got a problem here, guy?
Go out the back!
Thank you. Fuck, it's locked. Keys, we need your keys.
No. Wait. No.
Like, just turned it up to an 11.
Yeah, and it was. I'm gonna go and. Okay, so. Kind of a spoiler. This is the spoiler moment. We know who did the killings, you know, which is pretty funny because it actually goes back to the last movie, which was apparently Richie was a big character. You know, he was the boyfriend to Sam, who turned out to be the Ghostface killer because he was obsessed with the Stab franchise. And
So much so that he was right. He would direct his own movies.
yeah, he was a very obsessive fan. And spoiler alert, it's his family. It's his dad, his younger brother, and younger sister, who are and they did have a pretty interesting twist where they killed off the sister.
I liked that. It kind of threw you through a whirl of who it could be.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, she's dead, and then because they never said it was Richie's sister, okay?
But they
But-
also, the way they played her throughout the beginning of the movie, they wrote her is just account for the kill count. Like literally, that's how she was literally written, and I think that's what makes it so much better. Is it's because it's not like they wrote her to be this character that comes back in the end. She was written to die.
Yeah, she just seemed like just the roommate who was just kind of ditzy. You know, she's just kind of, oh, oops, did I ruin this? Uh-oh, type of thing. So and then she ends up getting quote unquote killed, and you're just like, oh well, that's her. She's fodder, whatever. I'm gonna say, when we were watching the movie, the brother who is kind of like the awkward nerdy guy who's
Yeah.
type of thing. Me and Raven called it on him.
Oh yeah,
It's
so
like,
did I.
It has to be, you wouldn't think it's him because he's kind of nerdy and kind of weird, but when it was revealed it was him, it was just kind of like, oh, wow, okay, shocker. But then when she unveiled herself, we're like, whoa, oh, whoa, hey, what? Okay, I didn't see that one coming. But the dad, who was kind of running everything, was the detective, which is, I didn't quite see that coming. But now that I've spoiled it for everyone who hasn't seen the movie, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was the one in the convenience store.
I would think so, because, yeah.
That just seemed like a very guy who's been in a gunfight or two, knows how to...
Especially with his height comparatively to the old roommate. But I will say, man, I tell you what, that one scene, I still have it in my head where Ortega there like smacks her roommate across the face with that brick.
Oh, knocks her.
Like knocks like 3 teeth out of her head.
Oh my god.
Just clean, just knock, bam, and they like go scattering all over the floor.
Yeah, the brutality in this was was brutal. I mean, like, in the first movie, the killings weren't as brutal, right? I mean, I think like one of the most shocking moments in the first movie is right at the beginning when they kill off Casey Becker,
Yeah.
and they got her hanging from the tree, and like her stomach's been split open, her guts are kind of hanging out.
She was hanging by
And-
her guts.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. She was literally hanging by her intestines.
Okay, well, that scene is probably the most shocking, most gruesome thing in the movie. Everything else is kind of like, stabs and
Gunshots.
that's about it. Yeah, gunshots and stuff like that. Stuff we haven't, seen, stuff we've seen before. But this is like the first time you actually see a ghost face. Because I'm not going to say this is the first time you've seen a ghost face. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the killers who play the ghost face and whatnot, they used guns. I mean, Billy Loomis used one. But I don't think I've ever seen like an actual ghost face, like completely in costume with a gun.
No.
There's been knives.
Or some other way of killing him, kind of like the ladder thing where he just shakes her and whoops.
Oh, yeah. Which is that scene for me was just really kind of like it was suspenseful, but yet it was so obvious the whole time because he attacks. Now it would have been a whole lot more shocking if they killed off the twin, but because she got like a shoulder stab.
Yeah.
And the other girl got like her whole stomach split open, and she's trying to like hold her stomach in and whatnot. Ghostface trying to get through the door, and the boyfriend across the street of Sam's does the ladder. Sam goes across, then twin sister goes across. I mean, they're like, "Come on, come on, come on," And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you're expecting this person to cross this ladder, to crawl across this ladder, holding her insides in, and you're wanting her to just speed up. She's getting out there. She's kind of wobbling a little bit, and I'm like, she's lost so much blood. Her insides are literally falling out. How fast do you want her to go? And then the ghost face comes along, shakes the ladder, and she falls off the ladder and like face plants a dumpster down there or whatever. And
Smacks it hard.
yeah, well, I mean, it was really high up, but bounces off of it, and that's it. And you're like, okay, that's it. And the thing about these movies, especially like the meta context, because they the sisters all like, okay, this is the rules of a franchise now, which is interesting because you have the rules of a horror movie, rules of a horror movie sequel, a trilogy, a requel, or no, what was the fourth one?
A remake.
A remake? Is it a remake? Okay, yeah, because the fifth one
Is a requel.
and this one is a franchise.
Yeah.
Going big, and apparently, this franchise isn't over because apparently they're working on another movie. Which here's the surprising thing: no Sidney Prescott.
I was actually shocked that she didn't make appearance at all.
Like, not one appearance whatsoever. Not once. Not even like a little 5-second cameo where Gail calls her or something, says, "Hey, Ghostface is in New York," and she's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go into hiding." None of that. Nothing. But apparently, from what I understand, she's actually going to be in the next movie. So we're going to get some sort of Sidney Prescott in the next one, which I'm actually okay not having Sidney in the story no more.
Yeah.
If they kind of just shoot her off, because looking at these movies now, and I know people are going to be like, well, it's the original. We want Sidney. You have Gail. We had Dewey, but
I think Courtney Cox is just doing it for a paycheck.
she could have, or they're trying to tie in one of the cast members, you know. And I think the thing about it is this: the first movie revolved around Sydney. Second dealt with Sydney. Third one dealt with Sydney. Even the fourth one dealt with Sydney. The fifth one, they gave us new characters. They gave us a whole nother new kind of subplot because this one didn't actually revolve around Sydney. Didn't have really anything to do with her. I mean, they were going to kill her off because that was what the whole thing was: kill off the originals and create a new thing out of it. But this family in this one wasn't even focused on Sydney. They're focused on Sam. Now Sam's this new character. She's got old daddy Billy talking to her. In her head. I wouldn't be surprised if by like if this is gonna be like a new trilogy, like maybe in the next movie, she actually becomes like a ghost face.
And so my opinion is if they do, since they are working on another one, unfortunately,
Unfortunately, if this keeps,
I wish they would stop because
even
so,
better.
so you can end on a high. I don't think you can get on a higher note.
You watch, they're gonna crank it up not to 11, Jeremy, to 12.
And-
12.
And I think you're right. I think they are gonna start shifting Sam into that role of Ghostface because you saw she's starting to eat both movies. She sunk into it a little bit in the first one, and now this one she's actually worn the Ghostface costume.
Yeah. Maybe she'll turn Ghostface into a force of good. She'll go out there and kill out all the other Ghostface. I don't know. I think that would be a little bit too obvious, but I mean, it might be something that they're working with. I said I don't know.
I'm just, I think it's ready to put this franchise to rest.
Well, maybe that's what the next one is. It'll be a closing out thing. Probably why they're bringing Sydney in for one, maybe possibly one last go around. You know.
Kill her and Gale. So, but
That's asking for a lot of not so happy people.
well, my favorite scene actually happens when what's his name gets stabbed, the boyfriend.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It takes place in the old theater, but you ready? It's short and sweet. Kick him in the face again. That.
Oh yeah, the double.
Just the initial double cleaning.
Yeah,
Like, that was just like, mwah, that was perfect.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching. They're just going, and then they did that scene. They, whoosh. I just looked over at Ray. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, that was awesome.
Like,
They were practicing that.
that was, God, it was whose ever idea it was to put that in the script and in the movie and stuff like that. Hats off to you. That was great.
This movie was full of surprises. I'm generally like, this movie wasn't scary. I'm not gonna say it's scary. It did leave me anxious, like especially in the subway, where like you had a couple ghost faces on the train, and then you would see him kind of turn his head or whatnot. And you couldn't just. It left me very anxious, but like I said, this movie was just. So those two come out, they stab Chad, and you're like, okay, cool, we got our two ghost face. Then you find out that the dad's involved in it, so now there's three of them actually. Even though if he ever actually, I don't think it ever really explains if he ever wore the outfit itself, unless he was just kind of leading the other two, the kids to doing it. But I do count him, so there's like three of them possibly, and So that was a surprise. You're like, oh. And they didn't kill Gale. That was a surprise.
They didn't
And
kill
I'm gonna tell
Kirby
you-
either.
They didn't kill Kirby either, no.
Or the
I-
twin.
Or, yeah.
Either
or the-
one.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
That-
saying
that
we
one-
got a new Dewey, because that man, you just watched, he just took like 12 shots to the stomach. And they come rolling him out on a gurney. And he's just like,
Core 4, guys. Power of the core 4. But here's something. Here's the biggest shocker. Okay, here's the biggest thing. Really got the ball rolling was the opening. Do you remember the opening, Jeremy? It started.
Yes.
Off like it started off like a typical Scream movie. You got a lady at a bar. She's hooking up with a blind date, right?
Yep.
So she gets a phone call, and the guy's like, "Hey, I'm walking down the road. I don't see you." Da, da, da. And she's like, "Oh, where are you at?" She's like, "I'm walking down this alley. Can you see me?" She's like, "No, I can't see you." He's like, "Are you sure? I'm on the right alley." And she's like, "No." And she walks about halfway down. Well, Ghostface comes out, stabs her to death, kills her, and then proceeds to unmask himself.
Yeah.
And gets like completely cleaned up, and then he goes back to his apartment, and we're sitting there going, "Did they just like that? They're gonna reveal who Ghostface is?" And he gets back to his place, and he's trying to talk to his roommate or whatever, who's missing at this point, and he gets a phone call, and it's Ghostface, but he thinks it's his buddy because his buddy, both of them are film students. Obsessed with Stab, because apparently everybody in this universe is obsessed with Stab.
Richie was
And-
obsessed with Stabbed, yet his family did more
Yeah.
damage than he did.
Actually, yeah, yes, they did. And they also got beat up a whole lot more too. They died even more gruesome than he did. But the actual Ghostface shows up and kills that guy, and he's already killed the roommate, left his body in the fridge. And yeah, so
he
you
was
go,
on
"Oh."
ice.
And you're sitting there going, "Wow, okay, so that was a twist up." So even that opening was pretty interesting, instead of just having someone get killed, which is actually the last movie was pretty interesting because he attacked Ortega's character at home, but she managed to survive. So that's kind of different too. But
Well, let's go into the Screamometer and IMDb. We got 3 to get through, so let's go through them real quick, and then we'll end with final thoughts for the franchise as a whole. So, with Scream 4 on IMDb with 173,000 votes, what do y'all think on a scale of 1 to 10 about Scream 4?
on a scale of 1 to 10, Scream 4.
PJ's going with a 6.3. Jason, you are going with a 6. Ravenfire, do you have any guesses? Is she playing, Jason?
If she doesn't have her phone, she's not in here. I think she's out there making dinner right now.
Well, this will be PJ. You missed it by 0.1. You're on the ground going, "Ah, don't, you can't kill me. I'm gay." Yes. It was a 6.2 out of 10. You literally missed it by 0.1. You are 10 cents off of the dollar. Just over. God, that's That's close. That's very close. But let's go into Scream 5 with 163,000 votes. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do we give Scream 5?
Scream 5. I'm gonna go with a 7 on this one.
PJ's going with a 6.2. Jason, unfortunately, you are no longer the sheriff. You are Dewey.
Oh, I'm just retired Dewey.
Yes, you took 2 knives. You've taken multiple stabs. But now this is where your franchise ends. It was a 6.3 out of 10.
Oh my god. You just undercut it that time.
PJ, by 0.1, you undercutted it by 0.1. But, hey, you know what? More power to you. She survives. And now, on a scale of 0 from 1 to 10, with 124,000 votes, Scream 6.
There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing. 7.
7? PJ, what about you? 6 point... Oh, she's going to 6.3.
Just keep that. That's gonna be like.
Well, we got a couple of other people in the chat. Let's see if they want to throw in some guesses as to what IMDb said that this movie got on a scale of 1 to 10. Just so y'all know, it is Price is Right rules. What's your favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite? What's your favorite score?
Well, in this case, Jason, you're that poor unfortunate sap that's dating Gale Weathers, who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh no, not that guy.
I love how sneaky it was. It was just like she's sitting there talking, and in the background, you just see him like come out and go,
Yeah, he throws. Yeah, he's
and then throws him through the TV area of the wall.
Yeah, it was
It got a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. I guess people really weren't.
But now we are on to the Screamometer. So, with the Screamometer, on a scale of 0 to 100, what did the critics think of Scream 4? Remember, this is critics.
So out of 100.
Yeah, give me that percentage. And just remove the decimal. Both of y'all just like remove the decimal point.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The decimal point.
PJ, you're that poor unfortunate deputy that got stabbed in the face. He's played by Anthony something.
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah. And like he's just slowly he's like and Ghostface just kind of watches him plop.
Oh yeah, he gets stabbed. Yeah, I guess.
He got stabbed like right through the forehead. Jason. Oh man. Jace. Jace.
Like Kirby.
No, she doesn't die.
I know. Tell me I'm Kirby.
No. You're Rebecca. Rebecca Walters.
Who was that? I don't even remember who that was.
She was Sydney's publicist.
I get to be Community.
Yeah. Stabbed in the parking garage.
And then thrown off the
It got
to the news again.
it was a
Anyway.
Her news van's always getting like crushed or destroyed or something.
She needs to get away from the news vans because she's had a cameraman who died in the news van. Randy was killed in the news van. Did she have a news van in the third one?
No.
No, she just had a Gale look-alike with her.
Yeah.
She died, and then yeah, she just needs to stay away from news vans.
Well, it was a 60%.
Oh, 60.
And the audience score on Scream 4.
Audience score. Okay, audience scores. 4. I'm gonna.
PJ's going with the 65.
No, there you go. 62.
Oh.
Undercutting you.
All right. Jason? You're Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts.
Jill.
Oh, I put myself to a coffee table.
And into a picture frame. And had some hair yanked out. And had like 150,000 volts of electricity through your brain.
And you still had to shoot me in the head.
And you got shot.
Yeah. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me.
PJ? You're Macaulay Culkin's brother.
What's the character's name, Jeremy?
I gotta find it. I don't remember off the top of my head.
God.
And he's not even in the top cast or crew. Just like
Wow. That's
Charlie. It was Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah, it's Charlie.
Charlie Walker, because he's played by Rory Culkin.
Yeah, there you go.
But he wasn't even the top, like I say, he wasn't even the top billed cast.
Well.
A killer wasn't even in the top billed cast of Scream.
Well, they had such a big cast, Jeremy. They wanted to keep him low key.
Um,
Charlie, LOL.
it was 57%.
57.
Now, we go into
God, are we dropping?
Scream 5
You were screaming.
with the Screamo-meter.
There's a whole lot of this. Let's do critic-wise Scream 5. There you go. Ta-da! I think the critics are. I think we're in a down spiral on the critics. We're like, oh, these movies are getting better, and the critics are like, these movies are getting worse.
All right, with the Screamo-meter, with the critics, PJ, you're Richie. You love the Stab franchise. It's your favorite, so you wanted to create your own, and you got shot in the head. And stabbed a bunch of times.
And you had your throat slit.
Yeah.
Take that back. He had a horrible way of dying. Nice. Yeah, nice.
Jason?
Oh, God. Do I get my face caught on fire?
Actually, no. This movie is certified fresh at a 76%.
Boy, yeah. Boy, yeah. Look like fresh. Ooh, wee.
And with the audience review,
Ooh, yeah. As Cyborg would like to say, booyah.
what do y'all think the audience gave Scream 5?
Oh, jeez, this pumped me up a little bit. Let's just go with a 70. I like a 70. I think fans must have liked it.
A 3?
Who gave it a
PJ, you're... Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Fans hated it. It's only a 3.
You don't get anything.
I'm sorry, PJ. You died. Not because because I got closer. It was actually a 2.
PJ, you got your
Oh.
face lit on fire.
Yes.
Shot in the face.
Oh my goodness, she
Ah!
got both good on this one.
Yes. Jason.
Dewey.
No. You're Jenna Ortega. You lived. It was an 82.
He's telling you, starting to see. Let's get that ladder. Gonna have to leave the ladder at home. Dumpster divers.
All right. Scream 6. The
Okay,
final
I'm
screamo-meter.
I'm gonna buckle this down a little bit with a 64. That's what I'm thinking. I think it went down just a touch. Watch it be even better than the other one.
PJ's going with a 58.
Give me the dumpster dive.
PJ,
Oh God.
are you ready? Are you? Do you think you're ready?
I don't think they're ready.
You're Anika. You went dumpster diving.
Dumpster dive.
No, I'm just kidding with you. You're not her.
You have to be careful though. You gotta make sure the lid is open.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
You're right. You're not. You're Quinn. You got your teeth knocked out of your head.
Oh, I was about to ask who Quinn was.
And shot and stabbed.
Maybe.
And when you went for
I
that
think she's gonna be cocking like this, bro.
when you went for that final kill and you smiled, you're like, ah! You're like, you had like teeth missing. It was certified fresh at a 76%. And
It was certified fresh, huh?
the
Okay,
audience
yeah,
of Scream 6.
oh God. I'm just gonna go out on a limb, Jim, with these scores going up. Think that this is actually gonna be the last one.
PJ, are these y'all's final votes? Because PJ, you keep voting below Jason and you keep losing. Do you want to change it up a little bit? Jason, do you still want to go with the 70?
Yeah. I think at this rate I can lose one.
All right,
I don't even know what I'm at.
PJ, is that your final answer? Jason said his is his final answer. All right.
I think I. Wait. Well, you know what? I've got all my teeth, so you know.
I'll give you some of your teeth. Some are here. Some are there. All right. PJ. Your investigator Bailey stabbed by Sam with
Oh God.
with the original Billy Loomis knife. Jason,
Yes.
are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're Chad. A human pincushion that still somehow managed to live as the new Dewey. This got a certified hot at 91%.
So what you keep saying is that PJ is all the characters that get gruesomely killed off, and I'm the guy who gets stabbed and everything but survives.
Yes.
I'm like the OG Dewey.
All right, Jason. So, into the franchise. We always do it. What's your order, start to finish? Number 1. What's your least favorite out of all the Scream movies? Bottom. Start at the bottom.
God. I'm gonna go with number 3.
3 is definitely going to be my least favorite. Number 5.
Number 5 is going to be probably number 4.
Wow, same as me. Hey. All right, number 4.
Number 2.
See, this is where we're gonna differ. I actually put number 5 as 4.
Okay, so let me see here. How many movies? There's 6 of them, right?
Yep. We got 3 more to go.
So what did I say? 6 was number.
You've went 3
Number 3.
as the worst. Then you said 4, and then you said 2.
Yeah, and then number 4, our 4th spot was number 2.
And I said 3, 4, and then 5.
Okay, so
Number 3.
third, number 3 is gonna be
5 is number 3.
yeah.
For me, this is a toss-up. I love 2. I do. So I'm going to put number 2 at number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with 6. And of course, number 1, the OG classic, the original Scream. And I think you were right. I think this entire franchise did this curve where it went down and then back up the other way.
Yeah, I think
I just really like 2. I love Randy
I
in
think
2, and I think that's why I like it so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was the highlight of it, and he was a unpredicted death and kind of like the low point of the movie because I think everyone liked Randy, but I think in the grand scheme of things is that by the end of it, especially once we get to like Scream 3, we're just kind of tired of Sydney's stuff. You know, it's always about her mom. Always about Sydney's mom. Sydney's mom slept with Billy's dad, and
That's
why Billy's mom ran away. And
But you see, that's
You
not
know?
why Sydney. That's not why Billy's mom was after her in the second movie. She's after her because she killed him.
well, yeah, but I'm saying I mean, it all revolves around that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think by the time we get to Scream 3 and we're doing the same hustle again, and I think just Scream 3, there there are moments in this movie, in Scream 6, that's really just kind of meta, like when the twin sister gets stabbed in the subway,
Yeah.
and she's lying there, and you're thinking she's gonna die or whatever. She's just like, oh, I hate this franchise, you know. She kind of makes like a meta comment about like that. And you're just kind of like, huh, that's funny, you know.
Because she's like, I got it wrong again.
Yeah, she's light about it, you know. Oh, I want to try to survive so I can try to guess it right again, you know. That kind of stuff adds a little bit of humor to the weight of the movie, and I do think it handles it better in this one than it does in 3. I think 3 took a lot of like really kind of humorous moments, and they just kind of played them too much. Almost became really just kind of a parody of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, it's fun to have, like, the real Gale go against the actress who's playing Gale in the Stab franchise. But once it goes on too long, it just kind of gets, you're just kind of like, oh my god, can we just separate the two? Why are they still together? You know?
No, I understand.
That's just my biggest thing with the third one, is that some of the humorous moments don't always land as well.
And I think that's
Yeah,
why I
there's
like
not-
the second one so much, is because a lot of the humor stuff does. Like when the boyfriend is pulling the Top Gun scene
Yeah.
in the college, and you know, when Sydney's on rehearsing for the play and the ghost face is bouncing around within all the masked figures, you know.
You know, and that's not to say, you know, this list here is not to say, oh God, I think 3 is a horrible movie. I don't think it's a horrible movie. I just think it doesn't sit as well. And I mean, 4, I really like 4. I like the characters in 4. I like how it's played out and how it's the cousin just trying to get her 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But I think the problem with that is that every time we do a Scream movie, we're just rehearsing the first movie. And the only difference between 4 and 5, because they're kind of the same thing, they're still kind of rehearsing the same thing, is that 5 does its own new characters, new kind of plot, but it has its own feel to it instead of like a reboot, which is what 4 feels like, a remake or whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. We're gonna get ready to do my solo movie. And last week we watched a random movie but we don't. It was called Rabid Grannies, but that's not.
Rabbit Grannies.
That was a wild ride. But
Yeah, we weren't anticipating any of that.
I decided I wanted to do something completely different than what we've been doing.
Oh god, the color out of space 2.
No. We're actually going back to Bela Lugosi.
We doing something classic.
We are. We are going to talk about the first ever, very first ever zombie movie ever made.
Okay.
It came out in 1932.
19. Jesus.
Or 1932.
Bela Lugosi did Dracula, right?
Yes, he is the OG Dracula.
See, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
There's
It's
like 7 sequels.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because you were talking about Bela Lugosi, and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna do Dracula. That would be really cool. But there's a lot of Dracula movies.
No,
Unless you wanted to.
we are doing the 1932 black and white classic White Zombie.
Jeremy, wasn't that like Rob Zombie's other band?
It was, but it is actually a movie based off of Haitian voodoo.
Okay.
And without further ado, the trailer to the first ever zombie movie ever made, featuring Bela Lugosi.
From Haiti, land of the voodoo, comes the most infamous cult of all. Bela Lugosi as Murder Legendre,
I see death.
master of the undead damned. The sinister power behind the White Zombie.
Zombies? Yes, they are my servants.
This soul killer takes men from their graves to be his slaves. His instruments of terror, and now this fiend plots to possess a woman.
Only a pin white, a silver one, in a glass of wine, or perhaps a flower. Keep it, monsieur. Keep it. You may change your mind. Not dead? Are you mad? I saw her die. The doctor signed the certificate. I saw them bury her.
Captive in the borderland between life and death. Her brain drained of the life spark. The White Zombie obeys the unholy commands of her demon master. As mindless creatures carry out his cursed will, terror explodes in horror and heartquake.
Zombie! Allez, allez!
Never eyes so evil. Never powers so potent. Never magic so black. Bela Dracula Lugosi as the master of the White Zombie.